Peace. How's everybody? I'm Johnny B. And today we're going to talk about that man right there, Nicolas Maduro. I've been speaking about this man now for the last couple of years. And the reason I've been speaking about him is because I've been studying ideological subversion. And we will go over that at another video. And then we're going to see if we can actually tie that into this a little bit better. But the four stages of ideological subversion are demoralization stage, destabilization stage, crisis, and normalization stage. Well, around the second week of September of 2017, he came out and said, our country is back to normal. He had conquered it. He had arrested all the politicians that he could do. He had killed whoever he needed to kill, and he has stolen his country and was a dictator. Well, if all things ended there, it would be one thing. It wouldn't be good. It'd just be one thing. But he's put his foot into American politics, along with Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. His nickname is AMLO, A-M-L-O, for Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. Okay, so he goes by an acronym. As well as Cuba, as well as any far left-wing groups, such as Pueblos Sin Fronteras, which is out of Venezuela. And they have groups in the United States, which include even Chicago. And you also have George Soros, as well as other globalists involved, all looking to try to overthrow the United States of America. That is where the left has gone. Well, them putting their foot into American politics, how do they do so? These people have been the ones organizing the caravans. They're organizing them. So not only is Trump trying to show America about the left and Nancy Pelosi and just how bad and how far left they've gone. What he's also doing is he's going to make sure that he puts Maduro back in his place. And the normalization stage, there's only two ways to reverse ideological subversion. It is to either have a civil war or to have an invasion. And the way it looks now, the way after you see this, it looks now, it looks like he's not going to give up. He won't give up. They're going to lead to civil war. And the reason you know it's going to happen is look at the amount of people that came out for Guaidò, who is the new self-appointed president. Look at this video. Here we go.
Turmoil in the streets of Venezuela today as protesters demand President Nicolas Maduro step down. And President Trump is taking the clearest step yet to show his support for their cause. He announced the U.S. is officially recognizing the head of the opposition-controlled Congress in Venezuela as that country's leader. But despite the upheaval, Maduro is not without his supporters and is clamping down tonight. State Department correspondent Rich Edson has the latest.
Across Venezuela, tens of thousands of protesters demanding President Nicolas Maduro get out.
I have felt that people are believing again.
Juan Guaidó is the president of the opposition-led National Assembly. Earlier this week, he began a legal process to try to replace Maduro. And today...
Now I need to break this up a little bit. Will Popular is the name of his opposition party. That doesn't mean that they're right-wing. In fact, they're kind of like the Bernie Sanders, okay? They're still socialists. They call themselves the new progressives or the modern day progressives. So they will be back in the same boat that they were in, even if they get rid of Maduro. Trump is making sure this happens, not because he wants another socialist in there. They're irreplaceable. They're just replaceable. Just replace one with the next. He's just making a statement to not only Nicolas Maduro, but to also the globalists, George Soros, and AMLO. He's making a good point right here, that he's going to come after him.
I swear to formally assume the powers of the national executive as president in charge of Venezuela.
The United States agrees. This afternoon, the Trump administration officially recognized Guaidó as the interim president of Venezuela. President Trump says, quote, "I will continue to use the full weight of United States economic and diplomatic power to press for the restoration of Venezuelan democracy. We continue to hold the illegitimate Maduro regime directly responsible for any threats it may pose to the safety of the Venezuelan people."
Okay. Came out and already said this. Is a lot of this due to the fact that they have just sent out 2 caravans in the last week? You're damn right. This is the 3rd huge caravan, and they're all starting from there. They're all starting, and they're coming up from South America and Central America. They're all formulating in there. And the far leftist groups, which are paid by Nicolas Maduro's people. Okay, Nicolas Maduro has his fingerprint all over these caravans. I think Trump is sending a message. And this message is, I'm going to destabilize Venezuela, and I'm going to make sure that you get overthrown. So do you think that Trump's people made sure that Guaidó could actually do this today? I mean, if Maduro had the power he says he has, don't you think they would have stopped all of those people from formulating that someone else is going to claim themselves as president? Don't you think you would have stopped that? It didn't happen.
Maduro says he's breaking diplomatic relations with the U.S. and giving American diplomats 72 hours to leave the country. There's little indication Maduro plans to leave.
We hope that Nicolas Maduro will accept a peaceful transition of power in Venezuela, that he will accept the will of the people to move his country forward and embrace their new president, Juan Guaidó.
At the White House, when asked whether the U.S. would consider using military force there, President Trump refused to rule it out.
We're not considering anything, but all options are on the table.
Does that mean you're considering those?
Which is all options, always. All options are on the table.
Maduro's government dispatched police to the demonstration.
All right. So the police are still on Maduro's side, and they were dispersed, just like you see them in France and in England. Okay, they're out there in full force.
They fired rubber bullets and tear gas. Pro-government factions also organized counter-protests.
The government that made Chavez, the government that has Maduro, now has achieved significant progress.
The Trump administration encourages other governments to join the U.S. and recognize Guaidó as Venezuela's legitimate leader.
And they did. They came out in full force.
Maduro has called the opposition little boys under the control of the Trump administration. The United Nations says 3 million Venezuelans have left their country, escaping rampant inflation, food and medicine shortages, and violence. Several U.S. allies in the region have joined the administration in recognizing Juan Guaidó as interim president of Venezuela, though Venezuela's defense minister indicates the country's military is still behind Nicolas Maduro. Brett?
Rich Edson at the State Department. Rich, thank you.
Okay, and that's important. Is that...
We are on track to hit a 1.5% growth increase by the...
Okay, that's important. If the military is still on the side of Maduro, but the people are on the side of Guaidó, you're gonna have yourself a civil war. If the military was on the side of Guaidó, you're gonna have an overthrow with the help of a big country such as the United States to make sure that Maduro and his sanction leaves. Okay, this is gonna happen. And I promised 5 civil wars by the end of the year. 5. I had somebody actually say Venezuela to me earlier, about a week ago. I was like, oh, well, they've already lost. But they are saying, and they said, Venezuela, guess what? They're right. France is going to be another one. England's going to be another one as Brexit starts to draw. They're already practicing with their yellow vests because it is impossible to create a revolution or a civil war overnight. You can't draw that emotion. You have to build it up and create justification for it. And so France has been doing it for 10 weeks already. England's starting to practice. And March 30th is when they're supposed to leave. Okay. Watch what happens. Because I'm telling you that May is going to screw this up some more. Okay? And you're going to have Jeremy Corbyn over there have every attempt to try to steal that part of the government. He's been trying all along to steal it. Okay? All right, he tried to just have a no confidence vote, and he failed on that. Just because they didn't believe in May and the way that the globalists and the EU were trying to overtake England. And boy, were they trying to overtake England. England would have ended up like Puerto Rico, okay? They would have been the EU's little bitch. So they turned that down. It was the biggest turn down in European history, or actually the British history. But that didn't mean that they were willing to sacrifice May for a socialist. Wow. May is horrific, okay? But they didn't want to have a socialist. That just tells you how bad Jeremy Corbyn is. But he's not going to give up. His bunch of socialists are not going to give up. And they're going to keep attacking and attacking and attacking, just like Nancy Pelosi does and Chuck Schumer does in America, right? They keep attacking. Okay? You're going to start seeing more and more people wake up that Marxism is everywhere. Marxist ideology is everywhere, okay? It's in the era that we live in called postmodernism. It's in the spine of it. It's in our schools, okay? It's in our churches, our judges. We have activist judges, activist courts, the Ninth Circuit. I would even venture to say part of the Fourth and part of the Fifth as well. But the Ninth is absolutely, okay? With an over 80% reversal rate, they're not being judges. They're trying to legislate from the bench. Okay, these are things that we're starting to see. By the way, Nancy Pelosi has gone straight all the way left. Okay, they all have. They must have open borders in order to defeat the United States, especially when south of the border they have AMLO, Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador. He is a self-admitted communist, started his own party, such in the same manner as Emmanuel Macron. But he doesn't claim to be a communist, but he is a globalist, still totalitarian. And as you see, in less than a year and a half, his entire country wants him gone. The same thing's going to happen in Mexico. If ideological subversion is correct, and it was the last time I was very, very correct. I was 1 week from saying that Maduro would actually come out. 1 week from when Maduro comes out and says everything is back to normal, the normalization stage. It should happen around May, when AMLO actually claims that everything is back to normal, or the beginning of the crisis, or they're in the crisis stage. So if that's the case, May, June, July, by the time he actually comes out and says that the normalization stage is completed. Okay, so by the summer there. So there's a second one. So we got Venezuela, we got Mexico, we have England, we have France, possibly Belgium. Germany, they'll follow. It's really interesting. They're a follower. They're not ready yet. They're not pissed off enough yet. There are other countries that are pissed off. Okay, look at some of those countries as well, like Iran. Look at countries like Romania and Hungary. Okay, you got to look at some of these countries besides the obvious ones like Germany, okay, and Sweden, okay, but The French Revolutionaries do it again. They always start the revolution, and there they are. They're starting it again. They're on 10 weeks already, a month, 2.5 months, and it doesn't show like it's signs that it's going to be giving up. And I think it's going to continue. And once another country such as England gets involved or Belgium gets involved to the point where they feel like they're going to bust and erupt, that is when one of the countries in Europe will take the lead. Will it be England? I don't know. I don't think it'll be the Netherlands. I lived there for a while. Most of them live in denial. Okay? That's what Germany does too. A lot of them, they want to live in denial. Okay? But we'll see. I mean, a lot of these are getting more and more popular towards right-wing conservatism or populism or nationalism. Okay? The next several years, and it's going to be a while, the whole goal is to crush globalism and communism, socialism, and most importantly, the ideology known as cultural Marxism. Just watch it. Okay? You heard it here first that I'm predicting AMLO's going to start to overtake his country in May and will be completely overtaken by sometime in July of this year. They will be one of the 5 countries I predict will have a civil war. And Venezuela, if it is, it's going to be after that, because now we're talking about a reversal. Is Maduro going to step down? No. He has the military behind him, but we're going to get to see just how powerful the opposition is. Remember, they are socialists, so you're replacing one left wing with another. Okay, so it's kind of a wacky thing going on here, and which means when you're talking about that, you're still going to have a lot of fascists. You're going to have a lot of anarchy, because the left loves beating up on the left. You know, Mussolini and Hitler were friends at the beginning, and then at the end, boy, they certainly weren't, right? All right. Keep observant. Watch what goes on. Peace out.